Oh gosh, it's been way too long. Springtime, it's almost April, and I'm ready to get back on the water. It's been out there probably once, but we just had a special delivery. If you come over here and look, I've got 3 large boxes. And right now I don't know if you can tell where they're from. I believe Whew. All right, let's do this. So, I think let's start with the smallest box here. This one here. Hey, look, anytime you're opening boxes like this, watch with your blade. You know, a lot of times they'll put little pictures on these boxes saying, "Hey, do not open with a knife." So just watch out for that. You know, be careful. You know, if you can, just take like a screwdriver or something that's maybe not as invasive as a knife. Oh man, I love to see these seats. I've actually used these seats on the paddle ski. These look, the colors actually, they look slightly different than the ones that are on the paddle ski. So that's great. I'm just gonna set these off to the side. It looks like we do have 2, and on here it does have the locking mechanism to kind of lock these swivel seats in place. So that's great to see. All right, 2 seats. Nothing else. Toss that. All right, now this box here, sort of a longer box. This one was a little heavier. It sounds like there's probably a decent amount of stuff in this one. So let's watch what we're doing here. Of course, it does pay to have a sharp knife too. Certain instances, we know that one right there is probably going to have the boat in it, so we'll definitely take care when we go into that one. Let's see here. Alrighty. Put the blade up. Let's see, packing foam, we don't need any of that. We'll just toss that out to the side. What else is in here? All right, stand-up paddle. These are actually really nice. I've used this exact paddle before. Super lightweight. You know, doesn't get in your way, packs down easily. That's probably one of the greatest things about these SeaEagle boats is a lot of it just packs down. You can put it in an SUV, you know, a car, anything like that. Spring 2025, SeaEagle has come out with some new boats, some new colors, a lot of new things. So just kind of go to their website, SeaEagle.com. You know, they listen to the customers. They know what they're doing. They've been around a long time, so they continue to sort of, you know, work on their boats. It's not that, you know, they come up with something and then that's it. They don't just say, all right, we're done. We're done making changes. Now we want to continue making changes. So that's good. We do have the owner's manual. We will only open that if we really have to. I'll just set that off to the side. We do have 4 Scotty rod holders. Those actually will come in handy, because I mean, if the Fishskiff 16, which I haven't really mentioned yet, we are opening up the Fishskiff 16 here. You know, these rod holders come in handy, especially if you have, you know, multiple people on the boat. You've got an area that you can actually store them. All right, this is the bow mount trolling motor plate here. Kind of mounts to the bow of the Fishskiff, and then it's got several different mounting holes. Then of course it comes with instructions and everything. I will not throw that. I'll just set that off to the side. The transom. Let's open this up and get a good look at it. Anytime you get to open up something new, it's an exciting time. And if some of you all didn't already know, this is what I like to see. 3 persons or 900 pounds. So, you know, that means I'll be able to take both my kids out, you know, my son and, you know, father-in-law, whoever else. So that's great. Seat bases. These are nice. All aluminum. Of course, everything mounts directly to it. We have two. This is the kind of two-person package. If you go on SeaEagle's website, you can see that there is a lot of different packages that you can get for, you know, for the Fishskiff. So they've got a solo with 1 seat, 2 seats, 3 seats. You can get the bimini top. You can get the solar like motor package. You can get the gas motor package. We will be using a Honda 5 horsepower with this, so that'll be our main sort of mode of getting around. But the bow mount trolling motor, we're not going to put a Minn Kota or a Motor Guide XI3 or 5 or any of that stuff on here. We actually have a Bixby K1 that we're going to use to mount on the front of this. We'll go through that process. We leave for the beach in a few days. We'll get it figured out. It should be fairly easy to work through. Let's see. Swivels. Okay. And we've got some more bolts and hardware for that, so that's good. Mounts to the bottom plates over there. Put this on, then the seat goes on top. And that's actually nice. You know, the paddle ski, when you're sitting in that particular boat, you know, you're kind of sitting lower to the ground or lower to the bottom of the paddle ski itself, which is fine. You know, you have a lower center of gravity. But with this boat, you know, you're probably out there fishing, and with this slightly raised seating, it is definitely going to be, you know, a lot more comfortable. Of course, you've got a lot more room on this than you do the paddle ski, but whew. Alrighty, on to our last box. This is one we have to watch out for. Let's slide it over here. Manual pump hose. Of course, it's got all of the hardware for the Scotty bases if you just want to screw them onto the plates that are already on the Fishskiff. Transom bolts. Okay, that's good. Those are extremely easy to put in and out. And then we've got a repair kit. I have not had to use a repair kit yet with any of the SeaEagle products. So their durability is really good. I mean, if you take care of your stuff, watch what you're doing, you know, all of these boats are going to last a very long time. This is the plug for inflating the keel. You inflate the keel, this goes on top, put the piece over top of it. So I will just set this aside. We're gonna need that soon. Now you do have to understand, I mean, this is a fairly heavy boat. I wanna say it's what, 80 something pounds by itself inflated. But how many other 16-foot boats are you gonna be able to fit into a box this size? Probably not many. Not many at all. And just think, SeaEagle sells bigger boats that still ship in boxes. So it's pretty amazing in my opinion. But there it is. Man, I just love that green. I'm a green guy anyway. I would recommend watching some of SeaEagle's videos on, you know, how some of these boats pack up. You don't want to get out there the first time and, you know, spend a very long time trying to figure out how to pack this boat up. I have a truck, so it makes it a lot easier. Save this. This is the carrying bag for the boat. You know, if you don't use it that often, or if you don't want to use the cover, I mean, still save it. You never know when you're going to pack it up for the season. And instead of having this just sit out, cover it back up, keep it covered. Got it. Let's just rip through this. I'm not bringing the knife out again. This is a boat that will pretty much get you absolutely anywhere. It'll get you anywhere. It'll hold a decent amount of gear. It's laid out really well. The durability is there. SeaEagle products, I mean, have been around for a very long time. Let's fold this out. I mentioned earlier about the owner's manual. On each side of the Fishskiff, the floor and the pontoon parts, it shows a PSI listing. I wasn't sure about the keel, and that's the first thing I want to get sort of inflated to see how that looks lifted off the ground some. If you look through this owner's manual here, SeaEagle has put together absolutely everything that you need. All of the dangers, all of the sort of, you know, recommended battery sizes, electric motor sizes, gas, you know, it's got absolutely everything in here. One of the things that I did see is the boat weight. I mentioned it was, I don't know, 80 something pounds. So it's 95 with the transom or 145 assembled. So that's with everything, seats and, you know, everything else put together. So maximum horsepower rating for this particular boat is 10 horsepower, which is more than enough to get you, your gear, you and some passengers all the way to where you need to go. So let's go to some of these setup features. In this document, SeaEagle does have how much you're supposed to inflate the keel portion, because it's not listed like the rest of them, you know, around the ring. But it says it right here. So the keel valve access plug, which we threw off to the side, we need to inflate the keel anywhere from 3 to 3.5 psi. Make sure that plug is out. Twist, lock it in place, and I'm gonna set my dial over here. I'm gonna go probably to 3. What I'm gonna do, the recommended pressure, or I guess the maximum recommended pressure is 15 psi for all of these. I'm gonna go 14 today, or at least right now. Keep it inflated. You know, anytime you get a boat like this, check for leaks. Inflate it the first time. I've never really had any issues with any of the products, but I do this with all the boats. Inflate them, let it sit, kind of check things out, work on putting the seats together. You know, a lot of this, you can spend an hour getting to know your boat and getting to know all the pieces that go with it. So let's get started. That didn't take long. Move on to, actually, let's do the floor. You can't really tell yet, but the floor that comes with this, and I want to say the sides too, are drop stitch, and you can sort of see that. Once we get it inflated, I'll kind of demonstrate that a little more. It makes the boat really rigid. So there's a lot of fibers that are, as you inflate, are pulling against the insides of the you know, vinyl there, that PVC material. So it makes it extremely rigid. While you're on the water, you can step around and it doesn't feel like, you know, like with a pool toy. This is not a pool toy at all. You get this thing inflated to the recommended PSI and you can step right on it and it feels like you're walking on a solid hard board. Now that the Fishskiff is inflated, we can come back to the transom and tighten everything down. And if you wanted to know how many bases you get, I guess Scotty pads to mount either Yak Attack accessories, you know, their plates that they have. You've got 2 in the back and then 2 in the front. And some of you all have seen maybe some of my other videos where I've actually put more of these pads on the paddle ski. It's not that hard to do. Vinyl cement, and you know, follow the instructions, sand the back of these, and it's really easy to do. So if you want to add more, you can do that. But SeaEagle does include 4 of them, and then you can also mount items to the seat bases. And look, I don't tend to catch too many things over 40 inches, but the nice thing about this fish skiff is you've got rulers, fish rulers on both sides of the boat. So when in doubt, just lay your fish along that and you'll be able to figure out if it's, you know, within slot limit to keep, which I'm hoping when we go to the beach in just a few days, this will be coming with us. And I'm hoping we'll be able to use this ruler. This last bolt here, this wing nut on. All right, then we'll tighten everything down. Okay. And as I mentioned before, you know, you can go through the process of switching these out. If you do get lock nuts, that's great. If not, use these wing nuts for now, and then you can swap them out later on with some lock nuts. Let's come over here. I'll take these straps. And we're just gonna set this down. You know, I would recommend after you have all of these straps in, there's 4 straps, tighten every single one of them down. And pull them tight. That way you have, you know, no play in kind of where your seat goes. There we go. Look at that. That thing is tight. If you're transporting it, you can leave the seats on. If you have a trailer or, you know, the back of a truck bed, leave the seats on. We can do the front one. You don't have to worry about it coming, you know, coming off. Those straps are going to keep it on. I'll get the other seat on. Then I'll get to the Bixby K1 with the battery, and we'll kind of walk you through how we're going to use that.